So I realized that the only video that I've posted about my trip to Scandinavia is the vlog that I made while I was there. And I never really formally talked to you guys about how the research trip went and all of that sort of thing. So I thought that today I would bring it up and talk about how my trip to Scandinavia really was. So if you're new to my channel, I did a research trip with my pre-college to go to Scandinavia and execute a research project that we have been working on as a group for pretty much a full year before we went to execute it. So it was very exciting to go in with that group, formally do it in person, and we also had some time to explore and do our own thing. So it was really fun, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity that I got to go there, and it was the most perfect way to graduate pre-college. So that is what the trip to Scandinavia was. I'm happy to report that it went very well. As you guys maybe saw in the vlog, things were really fun and I did so many amazing things. There are some people that I got along with a little bit less than others, but everything still went well. There wasn't any friendship hardships or anything like that. We had a pretty smooth trip the entire time. There were no late planes or anything like that. Everything went super well at the airport. The only thing that really discouraged me this one day is when we were on our train from Oslo to Stockholm. Not long after we left, it was announced that there was a fire on the track, which was extremely frightening. But the conductor did say that it was very far from us, so we were okay. But we did stay on that track for hours, probably 4 to 5 hours, just waiting in that train, not knowing if we would be okay and not knowing when we would continue. So it was a pretty scary experience, but what we were doing was staying there to get more information on when the fire would be extinguished and that we could continue our trip to get to Stockholm. But after those 5 hours, the conductor ended up saying that we were going to go back to Oslo. And of course, our hotel room in Oslo was no longer booked, so we couldn't just go back there. And we spent a lot of time in the train station trying to find a new hotel. The train company actually gave us a refund to be able to get a hotel for the evening, so that was really wonderful. We managed to get into a 4-star hotel actually, which was really cool. And I think that we got very good accommodations despite that event, but it was a very discouraging event and I just felt like crying and screaming, and just because of everything that was happening, and there were other things that day and it was just so discouraging, and I didn't know, no one knew what was going to happen and if we would even properly get to Stockholm. And it wasn't the fact, I mean, it was really sad that we missed a full day in Stockholm. It wasn't necessarily that fact, because everything just kept piling on. I got a messenger, well, everyone got a messenger message pretty much right in the morning. I was woken up by some of my roommates telling me that they saw the messenger message and that we were going to be separated in groups of 2. And the first group was going to go on one train that would bring us to another city. It was, what was it, Gothenburg? And we were going to stay there and wait for the other group, and we were going to have to wake up way earlier and get there way earlier and just be stuck. It was just another shock, which was annoying, and it was one thing too much. And once again, I just felt like crying, but you know, I held it together and we did it and it was great. And I'm so grateful that we got to spend some time in Gothenburg and explore a little bit. So it was like an extra city that we got to see very quickly. Silver lining, and everything has a bright side. But that was the only hiccup I think we had. So I just wanted to mention that it really wasn't a big deal. I'm just, you know, I think quite an emotional person, so I think that's the only reason why I was reacting like that. I didn't actually cry, but you know, well, actually, I think I did go in the bathroom to cry, but very quietly. Anyway, the point is that that was very difficult, and I'm just opening up about it because it's not that big of a deal to me, and it's something that happens, and it really was the only hiccup on that trip. So other than that, everything was amazing, and we all spent a great time together. I think we made some connections that are going to last forever. We decided, hopefully, that we would do a reunion in 10 years. And also, there are two people in the group who actually have the same birthday on the 18th of July, and we're all going to go to a party for their joint birthday, which is going to be really fun because it's their 19th birthday. But actually, it's not that special compared to the 18th, where you can, well, where you become an adult and where you can officially drink and all of that. But the thing about the 19th is that we live between Ontario and Quebec, and drinking age in Ontario is 19, so you just officially get all of your drinking rights. Not that it's that important, but you know, you're officially, you know, fully in the, except for the United States, if you go there, you're not able to order a drink. That's something that I find a little bit funny though. My friends and I were talking about this the other time, and how funny it is that in the US you can own a gun I know it depends from one state to another, I'm not sure. You can own a gun before you can legally order a glass of wine, just a glass of wine. You can have a gun that can actually kill someone and it's very dangerous to have in your house, but you can't order a glass of wine at a restaurant. We found it really funny. So just parentheses, every country has their own laws for their own reasons. I'm not here to judge or anything. It was just something funny that we kind of thought about. The point is that it's gonna be very fun conjoint birthday, and I think we all shared this amazing experience that we're gonna remember forever, and it was a really amazing trip. So that is how my trip to Scandinavia really went. No hiccups except for the train thing, and very, very fun. This was just my little explanation on how my trip to Scandinavia went, and I thought that I would update you guys about it and just let you know, because this is something that I was looking forward to for a full year. I remember all the steps when I wasn't even sure I was getting in, and we thought it was France and Belgium, but then it was announced it would be Scandinavia, and I was just waiting for my interview, waiting to see if I got in. And there are some of you that have been here since the beginning of it, and I'm just so happy to have went through it all with you guys. Shout out to Finny Autumn Forever, who has been here for a long, long time. That is kind of the conclusion of my trip to Scandinavia, something that has been in my mind and a project for more than a year now. So it's kind of the conclusion of this big important part of my pre-college experience. I think I've mentioned this like 5 times in the video, but I'm super grateful to have gone there with that amazing group of people and for the life opportunities that it's brought me and everything that I learned there. Yeah, I'm really happy, and that's pretty much how it really went. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll answer them all, and if there are enough, I might make a separate video with a Q&A. Usually I don't get a lot of questions or a lot of comments on my long videos, but if you do have some, put them there and I will answer them and might make a Q&A. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll just see you guys in my next video. Bye.